and he developed what was called plate tectonic theory. So we talk about things like continental drift, the continents are moving. These were all of his ideas. So he put the two ideas together. So I know I hate it when you guys have to memorize names, but Wagner, he started it all. Mountain ranges, paleoglaciation, puzzle pieces, fossils. Those were his ideas. And then Harry Hess said, well, I think I can tell you how these are moving. There's magma rising, it's pushing the plates apart. There you go. And then Wilson put the two ideas together and he came up with like a unifying theory. So these are the three important people you need to know. So the plates move apart, they collide, they run into each other. So next day, we're actually going to talk about plate tectonic theory. And Wilson was the guy who came up with the idea. So we're going to spend actually a few classes talking about it because some interesting things happen when these plates run into each other. So that was kind of, a crash course in earth science. I'm just going to leave that there. That's it for the notes for today. Did anybody have any questions while I jump back into the course? I know it's kind of cool when you talk. I just find it fascinating. I hope you guys find it somewhat interesting that we just have all of these ideas about what's happening and we kind of put these ideas together. I believe Wilson's still alive. I could be wrong on that. Wagner's dead. Pretty sure Hess is dead. But Wilson might still be alive. Yes, Abby, I'll definitely get to that question about the exams for sure. Is there a universal limit for heat? No, there's no absolute high level. You have absolute zero on the low end, so things can only get so cold. Negative 273.15 degrees Celsius, absolute zero. All motion stops. But adding heat to something just makes particles move faster. So you can't, there's not an upper limit on heat. Things can just get moving faster. I suppose you'd run into relativistic effects at like near the speed of light, but it'd be really difficult to get something that fast. So maybe there is a northern limit on the heat, Alex. I might have just lied to you. But you can look it up. It's there. All right, back to the course. You can see I put in here units 1, 2, and 3, the biology stuff. You're going to end up with that being absolutely closed on March break. I mean, we finished it yesterday. That gives you a week and a few extra days to finish up all of that biology stuff. I don't want it to drag past March break. If you haven't finished biology by the time we're done March break or the beginning of March break, you're just not going to make it through the course, period. So there's a hard deadline. I don't love doing this, but there's really no reason you shouldn't be done that stuff by then. So Abby was asking about the Module 1 exam. And for a few of you who have finished the Unit 3 stuff, submitted it, I'd also sent out an additional password for the Module 1 exam. And we'll look at that right now. So the safety unit, we'll never talk about again. Bye-bye, safety. Unit 1, we talked about biomes. That was kind of the main idea of Unit 1. And then Unit 2, we talked about ecosystems, energy flow, nutrient cycles, food webs, and what have you. And then Unit 3 we just finished was on sort of changes to ecosystems, human changes, natural changes. So that's biology. That's the whole biology thing. So if we scroll down, once you're done Unit 3, you submit the learning guide like normal. You submit your squirrel, and you're done. So you write the Unit 3 exam, which is, I think it's like 12 questions, maybe 16. I know they're called exams, but they're really quizzes. They take you guys like 15 minutes or less. They're not very long. So what we've done is we've taken all of the units 1, 2, and 3, because it's one big unit essentially. You can think of the unit exams like being quizzes, because they're not really tests in the true sense. The Module 1 exam is all 3 units together, and it's 36 questions. So it's the same test banks as the first 3 units. It's just taking more questions to just see how all of biology went for you. So that is the Module 1 exam. You should write it before the March break. That would be my goal. Everybody be done biology, Module 1 exam, everything's done before March break. Now, Avery, you're asking when March break is. Today is the 3rd of March. March break's on the 11th it starts. So we're talking a week from Friday. So you have tomorrow and then a week from tomorrow. So it should be plenty of time, considering you probably should be done last Tuesday. If you don't think you can do it, if you're like, Mr. Borden, I'm way in over my head, and send me a message. I'm a reasonable person. But if you're keeping pace with us, there's really no reason you shouldn't be able to get that done before March break. So if something comes up, you're not feeling well, you're sick, whatever, send me a message in Moodle, an email. I'm totally open to listening to what you have to say, but there's only a few sort of deadlines in this course. The provincial exams, one of them. I think it's fair to have this stuff done before March break. I could be wrong. Let me know what you think if you have issue with that. So that's kind of where we're at in terms of biology. How much of our mark is it? It's 36 marks, or 36 multiple choice questions on the Module 1 test. How much of it are mark? I think it might be, I guess I could go back and look in the course outline, which would tell us that. So midterm exam number 1, unit exams. I'm going to put it in with the unit exams. So it won't be that much. It'll be probably twice as much, or 3 times technically, 3 times as much as a regular unit test. But it's still only going to go for 20% of your mark. Midterm 1, we're going to write in April 14th, I want to say. So about a month and a half from now. And the midterm number 2 we'll write at the end. Those will be the ones where you guys come in to write them in the gym. So this Module 1 exam, I'm going to put under unit exams. So it's going to be, 3 times as big as a regular unit test, and it'll count for that much, but it's only 20% in the long run, so it's not a huge deal. Like, don't stress out about it. It's basically nothing. 20% of your grade's not that much. So that's kind of that. Everybody okay with that? Cool. All right, so there's units 1, 2, and 3. When you're done unit 3, when you've submitted your learning guide from unit 3, I'll send you the test for unit 3, and I'll send you the Module 1 exam as well. Taylor, is the test the provincial? No, the final exam, sorry. So we'll do the final exam. I'll let you guys do it online, the final exam, the in-class final exam. We had one for math, and I said if you did it, I'd make sure it helped your mark. If you didn't do well on it, I would take it off. So I'll do the same thing again for the final exam here. I want you guys to do it at home, online, and just kind of an indication of where you're at the end of the course. So not the same as the provincial exam. 2 different things. All right, let's look at Unit 10 here real quick, and then I will let you guys go. I want you to actually look at something before you guys are done today, but I just want you to look on it on your own. So Unit 10 learning guides here, that is pretty standard. You guys are familiar with that. We did evidence for continental drift today. Features of plate tectonics is a bigger section. I'm actually going to break it into a few different parts. There's plate tectonics, and we talk about volcanoes and earthquakes separately. And there's a couple activities I want to do, because we have 2 double blocks next week, so we have lots of time to go through this stuff. There is plate tectonics inquiry, which is an assignment that we're going to do. So in Unit 2, we did the biography of a nutrient, talking about the life cycle of the nutrient. And there were some amazing ones, really, really good ones. I was really happy with most of those. In Unit 3, the one that most of you guys are working on right now, there was the adapted squirrel assignment, where you talked about a squirrel in another environment and what adaptations it had that helped it survive, trophic level, predators, where it lives, that sort of stuff. In this Unit 10, we're going to do this plate tectonics inquiry. So I'm going to talk about it a little bit next day, but before you guys get to next day, I'd love it if you open this up and click this. What's really strange about it, where it says click to run, if you click on the where it says click, it doesn't work. But if you move your mouse a little bit higher, it does work. So yeah, you don't need to do the plate tectonics inquiry for next day. I want you guys to get done Unit 3. What I want you to do is just go in and just open this program, run it. It pops up. This is what it looks like. I want you to play with it. I just want you to kind of fool around with it. I don't want you to take anything too seriously. I just want you to open it up for before next class and just fool around. You could do it right now. I'm done. We're not going to do anything else today. So it talks about crust, and you can change the temperature of the crust, making it warm or thin or thick, and it kind of changes in real time. And you can make it really thick, so it becomes continental crust, or you can make it really thin, so it becomes oceanic crust. And you can, look at the temperature, or both the density and temperature, and labels, and some pretty cool stuff. So the next thing is plate motion, and this is kind of more what we're going to talk about next day. But I'd love it if you guys went in and played around with this before next class. So what you do is, I'm just going to move this over a little bit so you can see it. So you can take, this is the Earth, and you can just take crust. So I'm going to take some continental crust, I'm going to drop it there, and then I'm going to take some young oceanic crust and drop it there. And you can just play around with it. You can move the little red handle over, and these two plates will now run into each other. And you can see what happens as a result. I would encourage you to show the labels because it makes life a little bit easier. And you can see time in millions of years happening. And then you can, reset it and do some new ones. Old oceanic or maybe continental. You can do a sideways motion. Just fool around with it. Assuming you can do that before next day, just to see what happens when the plates run into each other, try different combinations, things like that, there is an assignment that goes along with this. So for those of you who are done, you want to, do this right away, that's fine, you can. I think most of us need to worry about getting done Unit 3 first. So if you want to do it right away and hand it in, you can do that. That's fine. I'm not going to tell you not to, but basically, it's just some pretty straightforward questions involving the simulator, I guess we'll call it, the simulation. It's asking things like, what's the temperature like? What do you end up with if you do this, greater than, less than, equal to, in the layers? And then it starts talking about the different types of plate interactions. So just draw a little picture. Doesn't have to be a Picasso or a Rembrandt, but just something that I can actually see what's kind of happening. And then just talk about the outcome of it. Do the plates go under? Do they run into each other? One goes up, one goes down. And then there you go. Just write something interesting that you found there. It's not terribly long or difficult. It shouldn't really take you that long, but that's kind of the assignment, or the first part of the assignment for the Earth Science Unit, Unit 10. Now, if you're paying attention carefully, you'll notice that I haven't said anything about getting Earth Science done before the break. I think it's really important that you guys get Units 1, 2, and 3 done before the break, but if you want to work on this Unit 10 stuff over the break, that's completely fine. I don't have any problems with that. I mean, you should probably have it done before the break, but if you're going to drag it out throughout the break, then that's cool. I think it'd be worthwhile for you to get it done before, then you don't have to worry about having any homework over the break. But if you want that time to do it, fair enough. I understand you have other things going on in your lives and other courses to do. And there you go. So that's kind of where we're at, where we're going. We have 2 double blocks next week, which we'll break up this Unit 10 plate tectonics stuff into sort of 2 sections. We'll talk about plate tectonics on our first class next week. I forget if it's Monday or Tuesday. And then we'll talk about earthquakes and volcanoes. And then that kind of wraps up Unit 10 right before the break. So it's kind of a good fit. Thank you for that, Taylor. And anyone else, if you want to just hand in the learning guide and then worry about the squirrel later, that's good. At least I can get you the test password if you can get the learning guide in. I'm going to leave it there. And I hope you guys have a great weekend. I will be checking learning guides until about 3:15 or 3:30 tomorrow. Anything handed in after that, I won't get to until Monday. So if you want to write the Unit 3 test over the weekend, get it to me before 3:30 tomorrow. If not, you have next week, but some of you guys are running into a bit of a time crunch here, so it's really important we get this stuff wrapped up. So I'm going to leave you there. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I will see you guys on Monday or Tuesday next week, I'm not sure. But have a good one. We'll see you then. Thanks.